and you should be able to take a look at that. All right. So we got some good questions. If you didn't answer, don't worry, I'm going to move on, but I want to show you some of these examples here. Take a look. Here is another type of question. Here's a map of the US. Question is, where are we? Where are we? Click on it, select. If you don't select here, I don't know what we're doing, but that's okay. And again, I see a lot of people answer, which is fantastic. I'm going to move on to question 3 here to give you another sample question, things that you could do with Formative as a student, or you can see on the student side, but it gives you an idea of what you can do as a teacher. The ratio of boys to girls in a class is 2 to 3. If there are 20 boys, how many girls are there? It's going to ask you to respond via draw. So you could actually draw and figure out the answer. I think you guys can figure that one out. I'm getting more and more responses. Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, if you don't answer, doesn't matter to me. I'm just giving you an idea of what you can look at and what you can see on here, guys. So don't stress if I'm going too fast. The point is more for you to explore here. Okay. Solid some answers. And I'm going to show you real quick, since we're sharing this tab, I can see 45 responses here. You don't see this on your screen, but just on my screen, I could actually click that open right now, and I can actually see responses, and I can see the frequency of responses all here. Perfect. So just for fun, showing you what teachers can see on their end when you're assessing students, which is kind of fun. We're going to move to question 4 here. Question 4, what is the appropriate number of cups of coffee a teacher should consume a day? 10,000, more than advised by a doctor. I don't know how many these are from older responses or you guys, but there you go. So we're seeing here just a quick little short answer on there. And by the way, if I wanted to skip questions, which I may do, I could do that by clicking down here. Here's one right here, question 6. You can arrange items in order from most to least important. You don't have to do this because I actually want to go on to the next question. You can see the idea here. Again, moving things, clicking and dragging things around. That is possible for you as well. All right. And the last one I want to show question-wise on this, to give you an idea of some of the things you could do, is the last question here is a video question. And as you can see here, I'm not going to mess around with this too much, but this is a video question that has just similar to Edpuzzle, as many of you have used.
Hi there, my name is John Green. This is Crash Course World History, and today we're
going to pause it here. Has questions embedded. So if I fast forward this a little bit, I don't know if I'm able to at this point, it'll stop at question 7, question 8, and question 9. Stop the program, and you have to answer questions to advance. So that is the video portion as well. And then finally, question 10, another drawing. Send me an image that describes your day. This is what we'll wrap up with. Send me or draw me an image that describes your day, folks. And we'll wrap it up from here as part of our show and tell session here. Some of these answers are coming in quick, which means they're probably quick drawings, which again, fine, don't really matter to me. So I wanted to highlight on this end just to show you what it looks like on a student side, mainly because I want you to see the types of questions that are possible that you are able to put into any given formative in order to assess your students or have a lesson with your students, so on and so forth. So gives you a good idea of some of the power that you have when it comes to this program. But as I'm going to show you on my end, as we go through this little bit of time here that I have to show you a formative, you're going to be able to see how easy it is to create lessons like this and how easy it is to create these programs here. So that is my goal. Thank you for those that are submitting. And yeah, by the way, I hope you're having a good day, everyone. Happy Thursday. I know school starts soon, a week from today. But I hope you guys appreciate you guys being here, and I hope you guys get a last couple of days of summer in and enjoy it. I am going to switch back over to our slides here, just so to keep our pacing up. But I want to thank you guys for participating in that, and hopefully that gave you some idea of what Formative can do. So I want to highlight some things about Formative that is very similar to a lot of programs we've already used here at Salinas Union High School District, and show you what is possible with this one program. So you can see it here on the list. Formative is very much like Edpuzzle, or has Edpuzzle capabilities. You can import a video and have the video stop where you ask questions, and the video will not advance unless questions are answered. And if students wander away from the video, go to another tab, the video does stop. Very similar to Edpuzzle. In this case, you can annotate videos and ask questions. Okay, Formative, if any of you use Nearpod, it's just like Nearpod. As you could see, there are teacher-paced lessons. But if you didn't want to do teacher-paced like I did with you, or a teacher-paced assessment, student pace is also available. And you could see responses live and give feedback live. Formative has the capability, like Cami does, where you can add videos and text boxes to PDFs, make PDFs more interactive, and make documents more interactive for full-on lessons. And Formative is like Google Forms, like we've used, because you can easily collect and analyze data. And a new feature I do want to mention that just came across this summer is that if you have a lot of Google Form assessments that you've created throughout the years, you can easily transfer them to Formative. Just like that, it creates the Formative based on your Google Form within seconds, which is pretty cool too. That wasn't able last year, and now it is, which is pretty fun. So what makes this great essentially is because you could do all of this stuff, Edpuzzle, Nearpod, Cami, Google Forms, all on one platform. And that's what makes it pretty awesome. So Formative, how it can be used in your classrooms. You could use it as an assessment tool, obviously. I'm going to show you features today where you can use it with your PLCs to create CFAs and have CFAs set up, ready to go, so you can start analyzing that data with your colleagues. It is a good tool for check for social and emotional health and learning. It is great with interactive lessons. If you wanted to give a lesson through this platform, it's very easy to do so. It makes the lessons interactive. And the one way, probably the main way I used Formative last year was through sub lessons. And that was a really great, easy tool for me to create sub plans and sub lessons. And it was an easy way, as I'll show you, to check and make sure that my students actually did the work. So that is some of the ways you can use Formative within your classroom. So this is the last slide I'm going to show you for a little bit, but this is essentially tells you how to get started if you've never logged in before to Formative. The good news, it's on our Clever page. Head on over to the staff portal, head on over to Clever, click on it, log in with your credentials. Everyone should be able to log in and get into Formative really, really quickly. So give you guys a minute as I get set up on my end to show you the web page and the main page of Formative. Head on over and just go ahead and log in for me and make sure you're set to go. And you can kind of follow along with me as I go through how Formative works. Give you guys a second to log in here. And again, please, if you have questions, anything you want to share, throw it in the chat for me and I'm happy to answer. As you guys are doing that, logging in, I do want to mention what my presentation I'm going to show you today through Formative, really simple, is I'm going to show you how to create a Formative, very simple process. What types, and show you the question types you can ask with a Formative. I'm going to show you the new feature that came out this summer called Common Assessments, which is basically a Formative, but how you can interact and use that with your PLCs. I'm going to show you how to create a Formative as a lesson, or show you what you could do with a lesson. I'm going to highlight quickly the Formative library, where there's already hundreds of lessons and quizzes already available from across the country, where if you are just stuck, you want to get a quick lesson or a quick quiz on something, you can search that library and hopefully get what you need. And as well, you can make edits on those quizzes that you take, which is great. And then, of course, just like everything else in the tech world around us, Formative does have an AI component, which will show you how it works and highlight as well. So I'm going to hop on over to the homepage, and I will keep my eye on the chat. So if you need anything, go ahead and send me questions on the chat. And if I miss it, don't worry, I'm going to be checking and I'll come back to it. So here is the homepage of Formative. This is what's called the dashboard. It is just exactly, yours will not look like mine is, especially if you've never logged in before. It may look pretty empty here. You could see at the top, you'll see your classes. I can't really help you with importing Google Classroom on here yet, since our new classes have not been generated. As you can see here, I have classes of 2024 still in here. I'm going to have to refresh and regenerate because obviously they're no longer here. So these are my last year's classes. And as you can see down here, it'll say my recent formatives and then quick links if I wanted any quick links. This is really kind of what the portal looks like. On the left side, you can see all of your options and how to run reports, library, teams, all that stuff. And I'm going to come back to that in just a little bit for you. The big thing though, I want to highlight for you, very simple, is you want to create a formative. This is your first time doing it. It's very simple. You're going to head on over to this button on the right, top right side. It says create, and you're going to click that button there. Create gives you 4 different options. And what's funny about these options are they're basically the same thing, minus the practice set. I'll explain what the practice set is in a little bit. But if you clicked on formative or you click on lesson or you click on common assessment, they essentially give you the same window with a little slightly different changes. So we'll go through each one of those, but show you that they're essentially the same. Okay. So I'm actually going to go and show you how to create a formative. And that's at the top, this plus button. I'm going to click that. And what's going to open up is my formative page. Okay. I will probably give this a title. You can click and directly type on there. And you can add teacher and student instructions. So if you wanted to add instructions to students, complete this fully, looking at other people's work, so on and so forth, you can do there. And of course, like I said, it was customizable. If you click change header background, you could change it to whatever you want, patterns, colors, you can upload images, you can do a Google search for images, put what you need on there. So now this is how we have questions. And this is kind of just very, like I said, it's very linear from top to bottom. It just starts at the top and you go straight down. This is where all the fun happens here. You'll see there are 4 options already available to you. Those are kind of like quick buttons that give you options on the next question. So obviously if you wanted multiple choice, you would click that. Short answer, you would click here to create a short answer question. If you are looking for a numeric answer here, you would click that. But the main thing I want to show you is this big plus button that's kind of jumping around right now, kind of begging us to click on it. That is our question types. And as you can see, what popped up here is just a ton of question types. This is what makes formative very powerful and also easy to use. On the left side, you'll see content types. So this is where if you wanted students to say, read a passage, a PDF of some sort that you have, you would go and click that portion, or you would click text. If you wanted them to watch a video and answer questions on a video, you would click video. If you wanted them to examine an image and answer questions based on that image, you would click image, so on and so forth. If you want to embed something or have an audio file or something that you said there, you would click on audio. So that's what content types are. On the right side here under question types are all the types of questions you can ask students. So if, for example, we have multiple choice, we have true or false. If you had if you wanted students to record themselves offering a video response, we have that. Short answer, if you wanted them to take a bunch of bits of text and sequence them in correct order, that's called resequencing. You have free response, we have multiple selection. We just have all types of responses. I'm not going to go through each and every one of them. Okay, you can play around with a lot of those yourself and see how it works for you. I'm just going to click on multiple choice to just show you how easy it is to create a question. So if I say, okay, I'm making a multiple choice quiz, I'm just going to click multiple choice and up pops this. The top here, I can change the point value to the question if you are having points for it. All you have to do where it says type your question here, you just type in your question. And then from here, you type in your answer choice. And then you can add an answer choice. You can get as many as you want and then whatever. So all you have to do from here then is choose whatever the answer that is correct. Again, don't argue with me what color the sky is. I don't really care. I'm just selecting for you. And if any of those obviously don't work, you can click on the trash can to delete that option. Now, what's cool about formative is you could just keep it like this and it works. It looks good. It's fine. However, you could also kind of what we do and add enriched content. So for example, if I click on this plus button here, I can actually add something to an answer. So if I wanted to add an emoji, for example, I can add an emoji and it'll pop up right there. Or if I wanted to add a GIF, or if I wanted to add an image or an audio file, you can make the answers themselves a little bit more fun, different, or you can add hints, if you will, within those answers to help students out. So down here as well, you can offer answer choice explanations. So if your student, if you want them to explain why the answer is something, you can do that. Jose, just saw your question. Thank you. I'll get to that. Let me just finish my thought and I will definitely answer that question for you. So if you wanted to have for students to explain their answer, all you have to hit is this answer choice explanation, and then they have to explain their answer as part of their response, which is great. You can randomize the order of the responses. So if you want these all mixed up, you can do that. You can require students to show work. You can allow partial credit, and obviously do a requirement. And then if you wanted to add another hint, you can type a hint in here as well for students, or multiple hints, however many you want. And then you can tag them to whatever standards you have. Right here, I popped up on my standard set is Common Core standards of reading here. So Jose had a great question. Can you add an image to the question? Let me hop back over to my thing. Yes, you can. So here is the question. What color is the sky? Again, add enriched content right here. I can head on down to image, and you can upload an image or take it from Drive, take a photo, you can draw it, or you can search right here, and it is connected to Google. And okay, I'll take that one. Cool. Sometimes not the best images that on that search, but you could always go on Google yourself and find some images if you'd like here. So yes, it is possible, Jose. Hope that helps you. So that is part of that as well. Now, when you're done with this question, pretty simple. It's all set. You feel good about it. Move on to the next one. In this case, you can do a drag and drop or whatever. You can do another true, false. Do I always wear hats? That's true. And then so on and so forth. Okay. So you can do this type of questions and everything as you go. The last thing I want to show you with the questions was the content types over here to show you what is possible here. I'm going to do 2 of those for you as well. Content types. Let's show you how Edpuzzle kind of works here. So if I wanted to add a video and have students watch a video and add questions to that video, I would go add a question and I'd hit video. And as you can see, video source, you can search YouTube right here. So I want my students to watch a video on the Renaissance. And I maybe know what video I want. Maybe it's Crash Course or the Renaissance period explained by captivating history. I'll just select that one. So a lot of these will pop up, which is great. You select which video you want. Here is the video in question. It pops up, and this is what you do. So you can start watching the video here on your own, if you would like. All right. And let's just say, boom, I have a question. You watch the video and boom, there's a question that I really want here. All you have to do is hit add item. And it says add item at question 3. And when you click on that, you get your options again. So I'm going to click short answer, and then you'll see the question pop up here. And all I have to do is click on question 3 and type in my question. Who brought us this video? And of course, with short answer, I can add a correct answer here. Captivating history. And then of course, do all of those options you have as well. And you're good to go. And then you can keep playing, add another item. I'm going to add true, false, and you can edit the question here, so on and so forth. And to make sure that students do not skip and go through, you just select the present skipping button. The prevent playback speed right here, they can't adjust, make the video go faster or slower, depending on what you choose. If you want them to go slow, not skip through, you would hit prevent playback speed. So that's how you do videos. Again, pretty simple, pretty easy to use, and pretty quick like Edpuzzle, okay? And then the other one I want to show you, let me hop over to the chat. Is there an AI option to add questions to the video? Good question. You know what? I have not checked that out, but let's take a look at what we can do with that right now. So we'll stick with this video here. And let's say I want to add an item. Let's see. I do not see an option for adding AI questions onto this, but that is something I may explore when you guys are doing your sandbox time, see if there is an option and availability to do that. But I do not see a way to auto-generate AI questions at the moment, but that is a good option. I know Edpuzzle just introduced that not too long ago, which is a great feature as well. And by the way, I want to mention, as far as I know at the moment, Edpuzzle isn't going away yet, but I have not gotten the confirmation on that either. So if you're comfortable with Edpuzzle and want to keep doing that, by all means. Thank you for the question. Let me jump down to another one to show you is on the content types. We're going to head on over to, let me see, uploading our own content down here at the bottom, actually. And this is similar to content types, but this is where I want to upload something that I've already created, but I want to use Formative as a platform for that assessment. All you have to do is click Enhance Document and then drag or drop pictures or documents here. So obviously this is connected to our Google. You can select Google Drive here, and up is going to pop a sign in. I don't know if you guys are seeing this. Let me, I'm not going to be able to share my tab, but you may be able to see this now. Here we are. And you can see here, okay, I want to upload something here. So these are my images, or I want to upload a document. Gotta be careful which one I actually upload, but I'll just pick one. Let's see. Let's just do this Savage Inequalities that I have my seniors do over the summer. But it'll upload my document here. It's converting it into a PDF image. And you'll see here it's multiple pages. I'm just going to choose one page here. And I think this is a student answered question, so I got to be careful here. I don't want to make sure. We'll just choose this document. What's cool is you can just add this image. So let's just say this image, you can hit add, and let's just say this is a PDF with questions on it. You used to give this out in paper form. It had questions on there that you wanted students to answer, but you want them to answer it now on Formative. There's two options. You can add the image directly. It's an image now. They've turned your document into a picture, if you will, and you can add them and then manually add those questions, which I'll show you how in just a second. Or if you want to have a little more creativity, you can try and give AI a shot at adding the questions for you. And what you would click there is add, parse with AI. And what the idea is that the artificial intelligence would go through your document, identify any questions, and create those questions automatically for you based on that document, which is great. Now, it's AI. It's still learning. It's not perfect. I'm not going to select it for this feature here because there are no questions. This is just a random document. But it could, if that's how you used to do it on paper, it could theoretically create the questions for you. And of course, if it creates the questions for you and they're wrong or there's some spelling errors or whatever, you're able to edit it yourself. Okay. So that's a cool feature. I'm not going to click on that because there's no questions. I'm just going to add image, and you can see here my image pops up here. And again, like I said, if this was a document tool, things like that, I want students to look through this document, answer questions. All you have to do, and this is a cool feature, all you have to do is take your mouse and click. Once you click on the document, your questions come up. And then, of course, you just select your type of question you want, and then you add your responses. And then you would choose how you want to do that, and you call it good. And then you want another question, you select again right down there. So that is how you can mess around and edit with a document. There's also a lot of other features if you wanted to add things to this. Like I want to add a video here as well. Along with this, you can type in a video, and students would have to watch a video as part of this document as well. So has a little bit of a similarity to Cami. Again, I like Cami. I've messed around with Cami. But Cami has a lot of extra stuff. This is really, really cool. But if you just use Cami for some of the basics, this also works just as well. All right. So that is how you add a document. And then finally, I'm not going to show you too much more here, guys. I just want to show you that if you have students that you want to have one question per page as they go through the assessment or the lesson or whatever you built, all you have to do is hit this section, add a section. And what that does is it creates a brand new page for you. So see section 2, then you would title it, give whatever instructions you want, and then you can continue on adding your questions. Let me show you what that looks like on the student side here. So just type in section 2, section 1, excuse me, then all that stuff. So If you wanted to take a look at how this all looked and how this all organized, you want to make sure that it looks good before you give it to your students. All you have to do is go up here to the top where it says preview, and you can preview it. You can preview it in one of three ways. You can preview it through the for laptop. And as I scroll down, you'll see the questions here. And then if I hit next, there's section 2, or you can preview it through tablet mode, or you can see what it would look like on a cell phone. So you can make sure everything looks good through that preview mode just by clicking that button as well. And then as always, if you hit present, you can present it to as a teacher. If you're ready to send it as like a teacher-paced lesson, all you have to do is hit present, and you select the class that you want to present it to, and you hit start. Students will get access that way. If you hit assign, this is where it's a student-paced lesson. Hitting assign is a student-paced lesson. So you would go here, select your class, hit assign. You can connect it to Google Classroom that way. Oops, let me go back here and let me show you. So if I wanted to assign it to my students here, you can assign and post to Google Classroom and connect it that way, which is great. Excuse me. And on that Google Classroom, you can, or on that page, it'll ask you things. So let me pop it up here. If I assign to Google Classroom, it's going to ask me to connect real quick again. Let me see if it asks me those questions. Oh, nope. Okay. So I'll have to close that assignment out. But it does ask you if you hit an option, you can set it where it has a due date. So that way, and that due date will carry over to Google Classroom. So students could submit it late. You don't have to worry about going to Google Classroom and doing all that work as well. So that is the simple formative feature on that. Are there any other questions regarding how to build a formative, other things that you wanted to know real quick before I move on? No, I see nothing. That's fine by me. Perfect. So I'm going to head back. Oh, there we go. We got something. Yes.
Hey, Brian. So are you going to show us how to upload a Google form?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm going to show you right now. If you're interested in that, I'm happy to show you. It's pretty simple. So let me go back here to the homepage. And this is one that was, like I said, a brand new feature, messed around with it a little bit, and it was pretty, so I'm going to make sure that I do this right. So under that create button here on the homepage, I'm going to go down to, I think it's import with Google, and I'm going to go find a file. So I'm going to go up at the top, it says forms, or you can search for a form or whatever. And I'm going to select for fun. Don't tell anyone. I'm probably going to delete this anyway. I'll do my Industrial Revolution quiz from this summer. All I do is double click it. And as you can see here on the left-hand side, all my questions have popped up that I asked. And it's still kind of loading right now. But you can see here, here's question 2, question 3 with the answers. And what's great is, again, you upload it. You could change any of these answers. You can change the question. You do not have to keep it set. It's literally just taking that stuff and moving it over. So if you have Google Forms with assessments already set, it's a really simple transferring over. Now, there could be some issues. For example, let me go to the bottom here. I created free response, but those carried over pretty good. So you can see here, it's a free response. It was a short answer I had on Google Form. It came over, which is great. Same here, free response came over to question 18. Perfect. So it does also transfer if you have images on a Google Form that you want students to use to answer a question, that transfers over as well. I've seen that on other ones. So that's how it works, Jose and everyone else. A pretty simple, easy way to transfer things over pretty quick. So there we go. All right. And like I said, if you have more questions, just throw them in the chat here too. I want to show you though a couple quick other things. Just like I said, if you either click formative or lesson, they're kind of the same thing. They do offer a little different settings, but this is a lesson here that I have. If you hit create and lesson, this is what it looks like here. You title your lesson. And then what you would do here instead of adding those questions, you go over on the left-hand side here and you could add a slide. And of course, again, just like the formative, you get all these questions. So you can add an image or you can add a multiple choice question. In this case, I'll add a multiple choice question. And where did the IR start with my responses with the correct answer? And what's cool again about these lessons, They're just like formative quizzes, only in this case, it's more of like a quote unquote slideshow. As you can see, it's not going one after the other. It'll be more like a slideshow. I'll show you this right now as student preview. So I'll have the Industrial Revolution, and then I'll come down here, question 1, where did I start? You can hit submit, and then you could keep going there. But again, it's just like a formative. The only difference is when you add an item, you can either add it down here or you can add it to the left. It's just very much similar, just gives you a little bit more, little different options, but not too many. Nothing that really, to me, stands out as different. So I've used this though. And like I said, I've used this for sub lessons, which is great. And that works really well. Sub lessons has been really good for my subs because all I do is I post it on Google Classroom. The sub comes in, they see my instructions that say, tell them to get to work on their formative. My students get to work, and I just make sure that I have enough work for them to do throughout the period so they don't go crazy. The last one, I want to briefly touch on practice sets here. Practice sets, just to show you, I have one already created on elements of a story here that was generated. I took from a library, one of the formative library, but essentially they're flashcards for students. You can assign this to students to use to study. So for example, if they want to know what symbolism means, if you assign it to them, they just click that over and they get flashcards. You can edit those flashcards to fit whatever you need. So that's what practice sets are. Give students extra practice and support if you need it. Excuse me, if they need it. And what's great is those times they have an AI generated feature. You can actually generate through AI your own practice sets based on whatever topic you show. And then finally, I'm going to go back to home and just show you real quick the common assessment. Again, common assessment, just like a formative, no difference. But what pops up here is this little window on sharing, okay? And this is key for you and your PLCs. So this gives you a little bit more flexibility on when you want to assign these assessments and adding a start time and a close time. You can display each item as a separate page instead of doing those page breaks yourself. You can automatically do it here. And then talk about grading behavior. So what happens when they're done, and you can change all that. Formative also has a lockdown browser, which students can access when they log out of their Chromebook. On that little waffle on the bottom side, we have a lockdown browser. So if you really wanted security, you can have them go to that lockdown browser. And then tag management, which is pretty key. You could select and kind of label tags on what kind of assessment this is. And why this is so good and so important is for your PLCs. So if you created a common assessment with your PLCs through here, you would create all this stuff, and then you would share this link with each other. And what would happen is in your assessment window, this link is activated, it's open, and students can go take the test. So if you are with your PLC and you guys decide we have 1 week to take this test and we'll analyze the data on our next PLC, you just open the window will be open, and every teacher should have that link to that formative to pass out to their students. And then you can all come back and look at the data together. Okay. So that's a great use of PLC tool time, very easy to use, and also a great way to analyze the data that comes in. Okay. Speaking of analyzing data, I know I've been talking a lot, but I do need to show you where to find the actual data and what that looks like when you have stuff that happens here. So let me head on over to a formative. Just jump in here, and you know what? We could take a look at the digital citizenship lessons right here. So on here on the digital citizenship lessons, let's just say I'm on the edit page. This is the testing page where I can add questions, subtract questions, so on and so forth. If it loads, come on, we'll see what happens. Maybe I have to choose another one, or my internet is going slow. You guys can all hear me still, right, though? Just making sure it's not internet issues here. Okay, thank you, Jose. All right, there we go. So when students respond, you'll see the responses tab up at the top. And in this case, that is where you'll be able to look at your data. You click on the responses tab. And obviously, we're not going to have a lot of responses here, unfortunately. Maybe I picked the wrong one. But what you would hypothetically see here is names, totals, and how well they did. You would see things like a red right here means, hey, they didn't get it right. If it was yellow, means they were close if you do partial credit. Green means they got it right. If it was labeled gray, there we go. It's just taking some time to load. If it's labeled gray, like this student right here, that means it's yet to be graded. So it could be a short response question that you need to go back and grade yourself, which is easy to do. And I can see it's just taking forever because this was literally all of our wonderful junior class. But if it's gray, all you got to do is click on the question here and you can see their response. If it pops up with a response, let me see here if I can find one, and you can grade it and give feedback. If that takes too long, no problem. I want to grade every question 4 here, and you could pop up question 4 and everybody's response right here and give a grade right there. If you want, you can give grades right here, see what their answer was, give them credit, so on and so forth, all the way down. Now, obviously, hopefully you don't have several hundred students in there, but you can analyze data that way. And the other way your PLCs can analyze data is through the summary tab. And again, I don't have a ton here to show you on here at the moment, but the summary tab would give you the basic overall performance of your students, broken down from advanced to proficient to basic to below basic. And you could take a look at how many submitted or in progress, who hadn't started, underperforming questions, how students did on specific question types or item types. And then our big thing is our demographics. And these are all the demographics that you can take a look at and see how things are doing. So obviously, like limited English proficiency as they're labeled here, that'll be our ELs. Okay, you can click on that and see where they stand, just them if you want it, or our students in our special education program, things like that, all kind of broken down right there. So you can actually disaggregate data pretty easily through that summary tab as well. Okay, so that's how you review. Okay, I've taken a lot of time to talk and I apologize. There's a lot to show here. This is a 2-hour session, but if you don't mind, I'd like to give you guys all like a 10-minute break. I need to get some water. And if you guys need to use the restroom, whatever you need, I want to take care of that now. It's 2:06. If we can come back about 2:15, I'll show you just a couple quick other things and then give you the rest of the time to review and look over Formative yourself and start building, if that's okay with you. So let's come back at 2:15. And of course, I'll be here and ask questions. I'm just going to run and get some water real quick. Okay, guys, we're slowly, hopefully making our way back. Start in like 1 minute. Okay, some of you may already be off and exploring, which is totally fine. I just want to show 2 more things for you that it won't take me that long to show. I'm back on the homepage of Formative here. As you can see, it's still here. And I want to go over to the left side here. There's a lot of different options, but I want to show you the library. The library holds a lot of open, free, ready to take lessons and, formatives, things like that available for you all throughout here. There's just a ton. All you have to do to find what you need is type in what you need or what you're looking for up here, whatever topic it may be, and see what you can find. I type in the Renaissance and I go through and I can look at what is available for me in terms of that. And obviously, since we are I'm a high school teacher, I wanted to show that for just high school formatives. I'd probably do 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And as part of my filters, and you can see here, there's a bunch that pop up. So this person has a whole Renaissance and Reformation formative that I could take a look at. And all I have to do if I want this formative, I just click on it and you can see what they built here. Someone built this. I could just hit add formative and it makes a copy and becomes my own. And then I can edit it myself to fit what I need here, which is great. And second thing that I want to show you is the AI feature. Again, this feature is not perfect. It's not the greatest thing, though I did get an update that they updated to the latest public ChatGPT system, ChatGPT 4, just this summer. So it's probably gotten a little bit better, but you can create formatives using AI. I find this to be a helpful tool if you and your PLC are stuck creatively trying to think of what you want to assess or the content you want to assess. You could just simply create an AI and get some brainstorming power out of it. To do that, all you have to do is hit create again, and then down here is auto generate formative. And from here, you could either choose a lesson or you could choose a quiz. And then you got to put in your topic. You want to put in your grade, and that's really all it needs. I tend to use the additional settings, however, because on the additional settings, you can tell it how difficult you want it to be, easy, medium, or hard. You can tell how long you want your formative to be, short, medium, or long. As of now, you don't have the ability to set the number of questions. Hopefully that comes soon. And then you could put in the question types that you want. If you just want multiple choice, you'll take out these 3. If you want multiple selection or all this stuff, you just add it. Now, these with AI right now at this moment, these are the only 4 that you can use in terms of question type. So if you're if you want a picture one or a graphing one question, you won't be able to do that with AI. Okay. But all you have to do is put in your topic, fill in the things, and then you hit generate formative. And it's going to take a second. It's going to auto generate and tell you it's working on it, but you can actually view it as it's being built. Let me share what that looks like for you. So here is my AI generated Renaissance questions. And these are the questions when they already have the answer selected. And just like any other one, you can edit these questions or edit the responses to your liking. So it's not set in stone. You can change that up yourself. So that is the AI generated portion. And just in case you needed that option, it's there for you as well. Wanted to show that to you. All right. So that's a lot. I've thrown a lot at you, but that is what Formative does and what you have the capability of. We are here until about 3:15. I'm going to stay online myself and highlight or be here if you have any questions or want to mess around with some more of this stuff. In the meantime, I'm also going to put up the feedback form for you as well, so you guys can take a look at that. Let me put that up there for you. And then I'm going to stay on and answer questions while you guys mess around. And we have a question. Elmira, yes.
Yeah, I have been using Synergy for a long time. So Formative for me is something that is new. But I'm trying to make my questions, my test. But my problem is, how do we assign tests that can only be accessed at that particular period?
Oh, so you want it set with a certain window of time?
Yes, because if it is a particular test, right?
Correct.
Then it cannot be accessed the whole day by the students. And the other one is, how do we set up a secure browser for the test?
Excellent. So let me show you both of those right now, okay? And by the way, for those that are starting to mess around, I did put the feedback form in the chat. I'll also pin that for you guys as well while I answer that question for Elmira. So I am going to go to one of my formatives already. I'm actually going to go to the one we just built today to kind of show you what to do here. So that would be the Summer Symposium test formative here. So your first question essentially was, how do we assign it with a window? So pretty simple. So I'm going to head on over to the assign button right here. If I want to assign it to a class as a part of like a formative to take a test, I'm going to hit assign. I'm going to choose my Google Classroom class, which you do not have access to yet. Here, you don't have access to Google Classroom at the moment or with your current class, but we're just going to pretend from last year. Sorry here, I just missed it. All right. So I'm going to click on this little caret over here that takes me to the settings. Okay, so I'm going to reopen the test. For the idea of you setting an open close time, that is what this under time management, you can hit schedule open and close time. So you can set the time. It opens at today at 1:54 and it closes today at 2:20. And you could also, again, put a time limit on it. So if you want it open today and I want them to be able to take it in like 60 minutes, that's it. You could do that. You could also schedule a due date. So that's how you set a window. So from there on out, even if it's on Google Classroom and they open up the formative on Google Classroom, let's just say well after the window closes, the formative is locked. It's done. It's over. They cannot respond. They will get a message that says that.
That's good.
Yeah. So that's how you do it. Even if it's on Google Classroom itself, nothing, that won't happen. Now, for the secure browser on that same settings down here, you'll see a content display section. It says secure exam browser mode. Again, we have that available, I believe, still on our browsers on our student computers under the waffle and the login page, similar to the Synergy assessment one. Secure browser mode comes in a couple different forms, security levels that you want. Security levels start with low. So if you select low as the student browser, they're restricted to the testing tab. No, they can't open any other new tabs without the instructor. Medium blocks, just is a little bit stronger than that, includes all the low settings and blocks navigation from instructor links. So if you gave them other links to look at, they can't navigate through that. And then high doesn't even allow them to exit the browser without your permission. So I have not utilized the security levels of that browser except for low security. And what I found is low security has been pretty fine. I will say though, and this is a key thing with the lockdown browser and just being fully open and honest and transparent with the lockdown browser, there has been many students who have found a way to utilize the lockdown browser to bypass GoGuardian. So the one negative about the lockdown browser we have found over the past year, students are finding ways to do that, just to bypass GoGuardian in general in any class, so they can surf the web, do what they want to do without being seen. So there has been talk about getting rid of that lockdown browser. I only used it once, and I stopped doing it once I found there was some security issues that I believe have been cleared up. But what I found was just easier on my end was to honestly use GoGuardian and pop up Formative on their screen and only allow them to stay on Formative and restrict them from going to any other website. So there will be some workaround on that.
How do you pop up Formative on the screen? What do you mean?
Oh, so on GoGuardian, there's a way where there's an option you can do. When you're logged in on GoGuardian, you can set a scene, and I call it usually my exam scene. And on that scene, I just put in only allow Formative to be open. And then I can select that. And I could also, there's an option that says select, or what windows do you want to pop up when you select the scene? And I put in the code for the test, or I put in the link for the test. So then when I open that scene up on my students' browsers, that opens up on their screen and they can't go to any other tab or any other website. It's a little bit more of steps, but it felt to me more secure than the secure browser mode. But I will find out more about that secure browser and see if some of the issues have been fixed. So yeah, that's how you do it.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. And again, everybody else who's working, I'm here. I'll be on here. Reach out to me if you have questions. Just unmute yourself or send it in the chat. I'll have my computer on. I may turn off my screen for a second. Just full disclosure, I have 4 kids here at home and I'm watching them by myself. They're all watching a movie. So I was gonna make sure they're good. But unmute, send me a message on the chat, and I will help you out with whatever you need if you have any questions.